You ever wonder why some guys just seem to have their shit figured out? Like that friend who's naturally good with people, lands promotions, stays calm under pressure. Meanwhile, you're over here overthinking every social interaction and stress eating at 2 a.m. Here's the thing that's going to mess with your head. There's a personality test that can predict with scary accuracy how successful you'll be, how long you'll live, even how much money you'll make. It's called the Big Five, and it's not some BuzzFeed which Disney princess are you nonsense. This is hard science backed by over 50 years of research on millions of people, and chances are you've never taken it properly. I'm talking about predicting your salary within 20 grand, whether you'll get divorced if you'll develop addiction problems, how likely you are to be promoted in the next 5 years. The accuracy is genuinely unsettling when you first see your results. This is literally why I built the Counsel-Taught Chat, because most personality tests are either garbage or they give you results with no context. You take some Myers-Briggs test, get labeled an INTJ, and then what? The council runs you through a proper Big Five assessment, then breaks down what your scores actually mean for your life. Not generic horoscope stuff, real analysis based on peer-reviewed research. Like if you score low on conscientiousness, it won't just tell you to be more organized. It'll explain why your brain is wired to procrastinate, what specific triggers make it worse, and concrete strategies that actually work for your personality type. The council remembers your results across conversations, so it builds a deeper understanding of your patterns over time. Think of it like having a team of psychologists who actually understand your brain and aren't charging you $200 an hour. 2-minute assessment, no credit card required, and I'll show you exactly what personalized feedback looks like. The Counsel-Taught Chat, link in the description. All right, so what is the Big Five? It's the most scientifically validated personality model we have, developed over decades by researchers like Louis Goldberg, Paul Costa, and Robert McCrae, and validated across cultures, ages, languages, socioeconomic backgrounds. The 5 traits are openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Think ocean. Each trait exists on a spectrum. You're not just introverted or extroverted, you're somewhere on that continuum with specific percentiles. Here's why this matters. These 5 traits predict almost everything about your life trajectory with statistical significance that makes other personality tests look like astrology. Conscientiousness alone predicts job performance better than IQ in most careers. We're talking about a correlation of 3 to 4, which in psychology is massive. People high in conscientiousness live 2-4 years longer on average, make 15-20% more money over their careers, have 40% lower divorce rates. Low conscientiousness, you're statistically more likely to struggle with addiction, accumulate debt, develop health problems from poor lifestyle choices, and have unstable relationships. Extraversion predicts leadership roles, salary increases over time, social satisfaction, and even recovery rates from depression. Neuroticism predicts anxiety disorders, relationship instability, job dissatisfaction, and physical health problems. The research spans millions of participants across decades. Let me give you some concrete examples. Take 2 guys starting the same entry-level job. Guy A scores high on conscientiousness. He's organized, disciplined, thinks long-term. Guy B scores low. He's spontaneous, creative, lives in the moment. After 5 years, Guy A has likely been promoted at least once, has savings, good health habits. Guy B might be more innovative and fun to be around, but statistically he's more likely to still be in a similar role, struggling with money management, maybe dealing with stress-related health issues. It's not that Guy B is worse. He might be an incredible artist or entrepreneur, but the traditional career path rewards conscientiousness heavily. Or look at relationships. High agreeableness guys are caring, supportive, avoid conflict. Sounds good, right? But they also struggle to set boundaries, often get taken advantage of, and can build resentment over time. Low agreeableness guys seem like assholes initially, but they're direct, honest, and often more respected in the long run. I know a guy who's extremely low on agreeableness, comes across as blunt and sometimes rude. But he's also the most successful person I know because he never wastes time on bullshit, sets clear expectations, and people know exactly where they stand with him. But here's what gets interesting, and kind of dark. Your Big Five scores are remarkably stable over your lifetime. That landmark study from Costa and McCrae followed the same people for 30 years. Your personality at 25 strongly predicts your personality at 55. The correlations are around 7 to 8, which means about 70-80% of your personality traits remain consistent across decades, which means if you're high in neuroticism now, prone to anxiety, negative emotions, stress, you'll probably struggle with those same patterns for decades. If you're low in openness, you'll likely stay narrow in your interests, resistant to change, skeptical of new ideas. This isn't to depress you, it's to wake you up to reality, because while your base personality is relatively fixed, how you manage it absolutely isn't. Think of it like being tall or short. You can't change your height, but you can choose whether to play basketball or become a jockey. Take conscientiousness. Low C guys often rationalize their scattered approach as being creative or adaptable. But the data is brutal. They consistently earn less over their careers, have worse health outcomes, shorter lifespans, higher rates of addiction, and financial problems. The good news? You can build external systems that compensate for low internal discipline. You can't change your personality, but you can absolutely change your environment to work with it instead of against it. Let me break down what each trait actually looks like in daily life. Openness. This is about intellectual curiosity, creativity, willingness to try new experiences. High openness guys are the ones always reading weird books, traveling to strange places, open to different perspectives. But they also struggle with routine, get bored easily, and often lack practical skills. Low openness guys prefer familiar environments, traditional approaches, and concrete rather than abstract thinking. They're often more successful in structured careers but miss opportunities that require adaptability. Conscientiousness. This is self-discipline, organization, long-term thinking. High C guys are the ones with detailed calendars, emergency funds, and clear life plans. They're reliable but can be rigid and judgmental. Low C guys are spontaneous and creative but struggle with follow-through and long-term goals. Extraversion. This isn't just about being social, it's about energy level, assertiveness, seeking stimulation. High E guys recharge around people, take initiative, and naturally gravitate toward leadership. But they can be impulsive and struggle with solitary work. Introverts process information differently, prefer smaller groups, and often have deeper expertise in their areas of interest. Agreeableness. This is about cooperation, trust, empathy. High A guys are the ones everyone likes. Great team players, always considering others' feelings, but they avoid conflict, struggle with tough decisions, and can be naive about others' motivations. Low A guys are more competitive, skeptical, and willing to make hard choices, but they can come across as cold or selfish. So what do you actually do with this knowledge? First, get tested properly, not a random online quiz, but a validated assessment based on actual research. Then look at your lowest and highest scores. Those are your leverage points. If you're low on agreeableness, stop trying to be the nice guy who never rocks the boat. Lean into being direct and honest. It's probably your superpower in negotiations and leadership. If you're high on neuroticism, don't just think positive or try to suppress anxiety. Build stress management into your daily routine like it's medication, exercise, meditation, sleep hygiene, limiting caffeine. These become non-negotiables, not nice-to-haves. Here's the thing most people miss. Your personality creates predictable blind spots. High openness guys chase every shiny new project but never build deep expertise. High agreeableness guys say yes to everything and burn out from overcommitment. Low extraversion guys avoid networking and miss career opportunities. High conscientiousness guys get stuck in analysis paralysis and miss time-sensitive chances. The traits that make you successful in some areas systematically sabotage you in others. You need external perspective to see these patterns because you're literally blind to them. They're your default mode of operating. This is exactly what the Council Taught Chat is designed for. You take the personality calibration, it's the Big Five, plus additional validated assessments for attachment style and cognitive preferences. Then you get 9 different advisors, each with their own expertise and perspective on your results. Marcus the Stoic focuses on discipline, resilience, and long-term thinking. Perfect if you're low on conscientiousness. Arya specializes in emotional intelligence and relationships, crucial if you're high in neuroticism or struggling with social dynamics. Victor is the contrarian who challenges your assumptions and blind spots. Sarah brings practical strategy and goal setting. Each advisor remembers your complete personality profile, your conversation history, your recurring patterns and challenges. So when you're venting about work stress, they don't give generic advice. They know you're high in neuroticism and low in conscientiousness, so they might suggest specific anxiety management techniques combined with external accountability systems. When you're torn about a career decision, they factor in your openness level, extraversion needs, and agreeableness tendencies. It's like having a council of friends who actually understand psychology, have read all the research, and aren't afraid to give you hard truths about your blind spots. I've seen guys completely change their trajectory once they understand their personality data. One friend discovered he was extremely high in openness but low in conscientiousness. He kept starting businesses, getting excited about new ideas, then losing interest when it came to execution. Instead of fighting this pattern, he partnered with a high conscientiousness co-founder who handles operations while he focuses on innovation and vision. Another guy realized he was low in extraversion but high in conscientiousness. He kept trying to network his way to success and feeling drained. Now he builds expertise through deep focused work and lets his competence speak for itself. His career took off once he stopped trying to be someone he wasn't. Here's what's wild. Companies are starting to use Big Five data for hiring and team formation. Google, Microsoft, and other tech giants factor personality assessments into their recruitment process because they've figured out that skills can be taught, but personality fit determines long-term success. If you're not aware of your own personality profile, you're operating blind in a world where others increasingly understand these patterns. Now, some of you are thinking this sounds deterministic or limiting. I don't want to be put in a box, but here's the reality. You're already in a box. It's called your personality. The question is whether you're aware of it and working with it strategically, or just bumping into the walls repeatedly wondering why the same problems keep happening. Others worry about the ethical implications. What if employers discriminate based on personality? They already do. They just do it poorly, based on gut feelings and biases rather than validated data. At least with proper personality assessment, there's scientific backing and awareness of the process. The goal isn't to limit yourself, it's to understand your natural patterns so you can leverage your strengths and compensate for your weaknesses. Think about professional athletes. They don't pretend they can play every position equally well. They specialize in areas where their physical attributes give them advantages. Your personality is your psychological physique. Work with it, not against it. Look, I'm not saying personality is everything. Circumstances matter enormously. Trauma, family background, economic opportunities, pure luck, all of these shape your life. But your Big Five scores are the psychological baseline you're working from. They're like the operating system your life runs on. And most guys have never seriously examined this foundation. They just stumble through life wondering why they keep making the same mistakes, attracting the same problems, feeling stuck in the same patterns. Meanwhile, there's decades of research that could explain exactly what's happening and provide evidence-based strategies for working with your brain instead of against it. The guys who figure this out early have a massive advantage. They choose careers that align with their personality strengths. They build relationships that complement their attachment style and emotional needs. They create environments and systems where their natural tendencies become assets rather than liabilities. They stop trying to become someone they're not and start optimizing who they are. Your personality isn't your fate, but it's your starting point, and you can't optimize what you don't understand or measure. The Big Five gives you the data, scientifically validated, culturally robust, predictively powerful data about how your mind works. What you do with that information is completely up to you. You can ignore it and keep repeating the same patterns, or you can use it strategically to build a life that actually fits how you're wired. Check out thecouncil.chat, take the assessment, see what your numbers actually mean for your career, relationships, and long-term trajectory. Get personalized feedback from advisors who understand both the research and how to apply it practically.